Have you ever wondered what your garden would look like if you just stopped taking care of it for a week or two, especially at the end of June when it's starting to really grow in and grow fast? Well, I've been busy lately and I had to put my garden on the back burner. So today I can show you exactly what that looks like and how we're going to take care of it. Hello, welcome to God in the Greenhouse. For those of you that have never been here before, my name is Nicola. Nice to meet you. And for those who have been here before, I thank you so much for hanging on and being patient with me, because I seriously have been very busy the last 2 weeks. We decided to put this place up for sale. I did make a video explaining all of that. I'll leave the link above, somewhere above. I forget what side it goes on, but anyway, it'll be there for you. You can check that out. But yeah, we decided that we want to move our homestead, and there's a lot that goes into moving a homestead. So I've had to even put my garden on the back burner the last 2 weeks. Now doing so, and it being the end of June, it's gotten a little overgrown. I'm about to head out there and show you. I had to come up with a game plan to get these weeds removed, because I don't want to disturb the plants that are growing so well already, the vegetable plants that are growing so well. So we're going to get out there. We're going to take advantage of this beautiful day that God has blessed us with. I mean, it's not even 70 degrees. Is that like 20 degrees Celsius? It's not even getting as nearly as hot as it has been the last couple days. We have an overcast day with a great breeze. So to get out there and get those weeds taken care of is definitely a must. Yeah, let's get out there. Let's get it looking pretty and make those vegetable plants happy so they don't have too much to compete against, because that's what's going on out there. So, all right, let's get out to that vegetable garden. Not very much going on in the greenhouse nowadays, just some pepper plants that I'm not going to be putting out into this garden because I want to save them for my new garden. Now, the garden itself is very overgrown, and I might not be able to weed all of the beds. I'm probably going to leave 1 or 2 of them as kind of like a little experiment to see just how much weeding needs to be done. And then maybe in my new garden, I can save myself some work and maybe you some work, because I can be the experiment for you. So as you see, these beds have gotten very overgrown and needing a lot of help, especially with the grass and sorghum growing between all the plants. So I'm going to get right to work and I'll show you how I'm going to execute this. I've got a lot of work to do, but if we start with that grass and the sorghum, it should make a huge difference. Huge difference. And remember, it happens to the best of us. Life happens. Sometimes we're put into situations to where the garden has to be put on the back burner, and thank God that plants are very forgiving and we can get things cleaned up and get put back into order fairly easily and fast. And as long as we keep up on it after that, then it shouldn't be but a couple minutes a day to keep up on. So it's nothing to worry about. It's just something to handle and get taken care of. So I'm going to be pulling mostly just the grass and the sorghum. I'm going to be putting it into this cool little container I kept from a cake we bought a couple years ago. Love reusing things like that for these types of things, because I will be feeding the guinea pigs a lot of this grass and also using some of it to mix in with my compost tea fertilizer. I've got a little shovel for these plantains. Plantains do grow pretty big root systems, so it's just easier to pop them up with the end of the pointed shovel and get them torn out that way. Now, the good looking plantains I'm going to be dehydrating and using as a seasoning to add extra nutrients to a lot of different dishes. So mostly plantains and getting this grass sorghum mix pulled out of here. Now I'm being very careful around the baby plants here and any other plants that I want to keep, like this sunflower here. You want to make sure you're just pulling around the base, not disturbing the plant too much, so that way while you're trying to help it, you're not hurting it, right? I have baby radishes growing in here as well, so I'm trying to be extra careful around them. So yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time, but God has really blessed me with a beautiful day to get this done. If you're still in the middle of that heat wave that's going on, just wait a couple more days. It's not going to really get that much worse, and your plants are going to be just fine. I'm not much of a weeder anyway. I do keep a lot of this at the base. That way it helps retain water. And also I get a little bit of shade going on as it gets taller during the hot summer months, like July coming up here right around the corner. I can't believe we only have a week left of June. Wow. But June, that was one of my busy months. In July, I'm not so busy, so I'll be able to keep up on this garden after I get it weeded out, and I'll be able to show you how we're going to move and also maintain the garden and the homestead at the same time. It's just because you move from a homestead to another homestead doesn't mean you stop homesteading in between that time. And you can homestead anywhere, you know. You can homestead in the city if you need to. Homesteading's just really trying to live as self-sustainably as possible. Leaning on God to provide. I used to think people were silly for talking like that. Like, oh, you can't depend on God to provide. You got to do it all yourself. Well, actually, a lot of this is done through prayer and through the Lord. I might get my hands dirty and do this type of work, but God's really in control and doing all the rest. And that's how I really get it all done. It is such a crazy world out there right now. See how much I've already gotten done? And I've only been doing this for a couple minutes. So this should be pretty quick, and I can't wait to show you what it looks like when I'm finished here. In a way, letting all of this go seems to be a little easier than trying to keep up on it every single day, because these plants have, I have the hiccups, excuse me, but these plants have gotten big enough now to where it's just easy to go ahead and pull them, and I can tell the difference between these plants and the veggies I have growing, because some of these veggies are still very little, and I'm pretty sure they're very small because of all the grass and everything I have growing around them. Now, if you accidentally do pull one of your babies, you can easily just re-transplant it back into the ground and just try to be a little more careful next time, that's all. How is your garden growing this year? Leave me a comment below, let me know. Have you been having to deal with a lot of weeding? How is the maintenance going? How is life going? Have you had to put your garden on the back burner like I did? Are you moving? Do you have a special prayer that you like to say over your garden? Oh, I would love for anybody to share a prayer if you have one. I do pray over my garden every day. I like to water my garden with the hose by hand. I do that every other day so that I get a chance to be out here with these plants, really look them over, talk to God, praise Him for all the blessings, all the beauty I'm surrounded by over here. All right. So I knew going into this type of gardening I was going to have a little bit of issues with grass, and I'm okay with that. I like to garden directly into the ground. It saves me a lot of money because I don't end up having to amend my soil every year. The most I have to do is keep up on fertilizing, and as long as I keep up on fertilizing, then the soil stays pretty good and full of nutrients. As you can see, I don't really have any trouble growing anything. It's just a matter of what decides to grow. And this is just a matter of like 2-3 weeks of it not getting pulled. Definitely making some progress. It really doesn't take that long, and it's really not that hard to do. I'll tell you what, anything new I put out here is definitely gonna love this. I did not realize how really bad this was. When I said overgrown, I didn't know it was a jungle out here. But things should settle down now, and I should be able to get my routine back and keep up on this. I really am just praising the Lord for this beautiful day. I'm so blessed to be able to get out here and get this done. So blessed. And I'll definitely be keeping up on these gardens while we're in the midst of moving. Moving takes a couple months, so I will be able to harvest a couple times, and plus I want to keep it very nice for the next people. Even if they don't decide to keep up on it, at least I tried, right? That's what really matters. I thought about them. I don't even know who they are. We haven't even put it up for sale yet. But you got to think in the future that far sometimes. Gardening helps to remember that, because you got to think about the future of your garden as you're planting in the present. Always remember the past, because it helps you be better in the future. And that also goes for gardening, life, everything. Everything. As long as we learn the lessons through every situation we go through, then that situation was never a waste. This plant here, does anybody know what this is called? and if you can use it for anything. I try to Google image it, but it comes up as a billion different plants every time I do Google image it. So if anybody knows what that is, let me know in the comments, please. I'm almost done. And this bed is 3 feet by about 8 feet. So 20 minutes, 25 by the time I'm all the way done. Not a bad deal, especially if you had to focus on other things for a while. It's not that hard to get back to once you are able to get back to it. So if you've been putting off growing a garden because you think, well, I got this coming up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, don't let that all stop you. Let your garden be your escape from all of that. And also let it be your reward in life. It's very rewarding to do. And a lot of the things we do day in and day out aren't very rewarding. Yeah, we accomplish things, but do we really get that much out of it in the end? Not really. Gardening, you do. This 20 minutes of work will create a double amount abundance for my garden. But me putting it off for 2 weeks really didn't hurt anything. Gardening really is more of a giving thing than it is a taking thing. It's good for everything, your spirit, your body, your mind. It's a wonderful way to get closer to God, thanking Him and praising Him for all this beauty and abundance around us. I thought I came upon a 4-leaf clover, but no, it's just 2 of them stuck together. So as I finish this up, I really am just so thankful to the Lord for providing me with such a beautiful day after all those crazy, really, really hot days we just experienced here. Now that I did this work and put this time in, I can see all the little baby plants starting to grow. My fall garden's going to be amazing. This broccoli is going to do great, especially come the fall. Wow, what a difference. I didn't even make it very perfect because you know what? Nature isn't perfect, so I don't expect my garden to be as well. I feel like trying to do everything so perfect all the time is what actually gets us in trouble, because it puts a lot of stress and burden on our backs. We don't need that on top of everything else we've got going on, right? So let your garden be a little bit more of an escape, not a burden. Let your garden teach you lessons. Let your garden bring you peace, bring you God. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this camera around and show you what we did here. Now I know by no means this is perfect at all, but it definitely is a lot better than it was, and that's what matters. That's all these plants really wanted and cared about. They just needed a little more space, a little more room to grow, and a way to get more nutrients into their systems. So here you go. Definitely a lot different, and that was just after 20 minutes. Now you can see the pepper plant growing so beautifully. I've already got some flowers on there. There's my baby broccolis coming up. Those will make a great fall crop. My nasturtium baby doing good. Oh, it's so nice to be able to see my actual purposely grown plants here. Another pepper plant there. She'll be able to breathe better. That's my radish. It's already bolting, but that's okay. I let it bolt because when radish bolts, it will grow these really cool pea pod looking things that are edible and taste a lot like radishes. So either way, you can get a crop from your radishes, whether they grow in ground or they bolt. Plus you can save the seeds to grow more next year and not spend any money on seeds. There's a beautiful sunflower that just happened to grow there and I kept there, and it's doing the best out of all the sunflowers. Isn't that funny? So yeah, there you have it. We're gonna spend about 20 minutes on each of these beds, and in about 2 hours my garden will transform from a jungle to an actual garden. I thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a very blessed day. Remember to do everything through the Lord. Hit that subscribe button, hit the next video. I've got a playlist set up as well. We'll see you then. Have a blessed one.